he's just genuinely really sweet and really, really good with the girls. I think he's really, really sweet to them. You think he is... You're wary.
A complete scumbag.
Yeah.
And I use this phrase quite a bit, intellectual lightweight. This guy is one of the dumbest. I mean, we haven't seen a bachelor this dumb with nothing to say off the top of his head since Juan Pablo, but that English is his second language, so he has a fucking excuse. This guy is a moron. I have a clip, and I want you to analyze it. In this clip, they're discussing family, and he's saying that he actually... likes family people. That I'll play the clip. Here you go.
What a monster!
It's just, I'm glad that you're close to it. That's important. You know, family's important. I have such a cool family that has a good foundation. Now that I've been doing more stuff at home, like it's been fun.
I had no idea, like, if you were close with your family or not, and the fact that I am and that you are, it puts me at ease.
I love that.
Okay. Do you analyze what he just said? Hold on. Let's analyze what he just said. In essence, on that little exchange,
Yeah.
he loves that she's happy to hear him say that he thinks family is important.
Hello, hi, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Bachelor podcast. My name's Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
The leash is still off. What's up, everybody?
What does that mean?
It was a callback.
Oh, I thought you said leech. Behind the glass, we have Patrick, the Irish bug Hickey.
How you doing, everyone?
I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I'm super excited. I got to tell you guys, I've been watching this show for almost exactly 1 year. And that was the best 2 hours I've seen of The Bachelor.
This is when it gets exciting. You know, there's a lot of ladies vying for one man's heart. Later on in the season, it will be just pathetic with the amount of love and the amount of real emotion.
When you got to dedicate a half hour to each of these women, it starts to get a little stale. It's still spicy right now.
Yes, best part of the show. We got 3 more. I always say like the first 4 or 5. Are what makes this franchise run on all cylinders. It's the back end that is, you know, we're kind of...
offensive.
Boring.
It's offensive. Mm-hmm. Before we get into this, I want to tell you guys, social medias, follow us there. Facebook, Instagram, we have a Facebook group. Go get inside that. Weird wording. Where we'll have tons of funny stuff, and you'll see all of it. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and jump in the ratings and reviews. Okay.
We're trying to build a mother effing community.
Exterior. Desert. We close in on a raven. The bird blinks as we see our blue-eyed bachelor, Arie Leandek.
What do you think? These editors like to have a lot of fun with
He
us.
looked like an absolute douchebag. That whole thing was so douchey. He looked like a nerdy Terminator.
He did. He was super douchey. I already don't like this guy.
You've made that very, very clear.
Mm-hmm.
Very clear.
Okay. So we have that whole montage of him on that fucking bike driving. Yeah, we get it. You're a race car driver. You're into vehicles, whatever.
Things that move.
Mm-hmm.
That only move if you put gas in them.
What week do you think they stop opening the show with a racing?
I think we'll get it every single week. We go back to the mansion, and this is it grinds my gears. I guess it's part of the show. But Chris Harrison comes out, and he's like, guys, today's the first date, and they're like, what? Are you kidding, Chris?
Dylan, I'm glad you mentioned that. There's a running theme here with this franchise. Whenever a male enters that house and it reads off a card, at the end of each sentence, the women scream and cheer.
Yeah.
It's like they're programmed no matter what you say.
Well, it's almost like they have cue cards on the side, like applause.
No, they don't. I was actually at that mansion yesterday, Dylan. I wanted to see how far you could push this. What will these ladies scream for? So I showed up yesterday, and I said, ladies, I don't know if you heard, all your fathers cheated on your mother. But that's okay, because your mother's going to die next year of cancer. Oh, and did I mention your uncle's a pedophile?
Do you remember when we were talking a little bit ago and you were like, there are times when I just wish Patrick wasn't on the podcast? Is this one of those times?
I love that.
That was so stupid. Okay, so he picks Becca for the one-on-one. Somebody that you've been a huge fan of, you think is going to be a very, very strong contender.
I have fallen in love with her. She makes me miss home. That accent is adorable.
They don leather jackets and hop on that motorcycle. Very unsafe.
You sound like Crystal.
You know who? Sagui.
Patrick pointed this out. She had some concerns.
It was bizarre because she said like she's seen a ton of deaths and injuries. What's a ton? And if it is what I think, why have you seen so many of them?
I've never seen one crash in my life.
I saw one the other night, but we got to move on. That's true though. Okay, you know who didn't fall off that freaking motorcycle? Becca K. Is it K or H?
It's K.
It's K.
It's K.
I do not. I think that it was a good date, but I know that she's not going to win this competition. And that is because she is. Maybe this isn't true because I haven't gotten a full read on Arie yet, but she is saying things like, "We're not in Kansas anymore. Mm-hmm. I want to capture this moment forever." On the back of the bike, talking in his ear. This stuff is way too intense and cliched to be saying on a freaking first date.
You know what? She's giving him a little taste of his own medicine. She's Arieing him. That's all the same shit that he did when he was on Emily Maynard's season.
Great take, Patrick.
Thank you. Now, the way this date was set up is like he's going to pick her at the end because this was like a dream date for a chick. Okay?
I disagree.
The guy could be a homeless person. If he took a chick on a date like this, she'd still say how much fun she had. Essentially, she gets everything bought for her. She goes and meets Rachel Zoe, who, Nick, I'm not sure if you're familiar, had a show on Bravo.
Nick's familiar.
I was wondering, like, how recognizable this woman was. I was like, was it just like a shot in the dark that Becca recognized her by sight? They didn't even say her name, and she just started freaking out. But she's evidently on people's radar.
She is the original fried voice stylist.
Okay.
No. She's like... All she does is humble brag. She has like 3 clients, some of which I know for fact have left her and gone with Taylor, a girl that worked for her on the show.
How do you know this, Pat?
I actually know. I volunteer for Meals on Wheels, and her name's Pat, the woman who runs it, and her daughter's Taylor.
You do charity work?
Yes.
Do you hear that, audience?
See?
You learn something new every day. I did not know that about you.
All right, so let me
We've been looking for his redemption quality.
Yeah, he does have redemptive qualities.
Okay. Now, guys, you know I'm a footman. I've mentioned this, okay? When those ugly Louis Vuitton fucking crystal-encrusted shoes showed up, my penis shriveled up like a fucking raisin, detached from my body, and fell on the floor.
The diamonds really distracted from the foot aesthetic itself that Patrick really appreciates. He doesn't need all the dress. You want to see the foot itself. You don't want to see the bling.
Preferably the toes.
Yeah, don't hide those toes under diamonds.
Okay, one, very weirded out, don't want to be in the same room with you two right now.
I am just commenting on Patrick's...
it sounds like you're kind of in agreement. You're almost there with him, which is bizarre.
You are putting... I am...
Holy shit.
Not a footman. Not a footman.
Pat, did you call them Louis Vuittons?
Weren't they?
No! This is something I learned very recently. They're Louboutins. They are red-bottomed, as referenced in Cardi B's hit song Bodak Yellow. These is bloody shoes. They're different, and I thought they were beautiful.
Whatever.
I was confused with the Rachel Zoe thing too. I was like, is she putting on right now that she knows who this is? Or worse, does she know who this is and she's really that excited about it?
I felt like that was genuine excitement, and it was all for naught because this Rachel Zoe woman is a con artist. Those were drapes with sequins. All of those dresses were something.
Smokes.
I could pull down the curtain behind me and find some glitter. Give me some glue.
Yeah.
Bam. Give me a show on Bravo. I'll fucking...
All you have to do is go to, like, Josiah's apartment, right? And then just rip down the blinds, throw some sequin on it.
Then the jewelry shows up, which is, I'd say those earrings were they were pretty amazing.
Beautiful.
All right.
Reminded me of the Titanic stone.
That's what I thought. The heart of the ocean.
Yep.
Now, one thing came to mind as I was seeing this date unfold, and the date that we will see the other one-on-one. This show finally has a fucking budget again. Like, when they showed, like, this date, this is pretty crazy, right? They're spending a lot of money because he's not buying this stuff. I love when the chick hugs him and is all, like, excited, like, this is the best date ever, I can't believe he did it. You know he didn't fucking buy that for you, right? The guy lives in a fucking track home in Scottsdale.
Well, I mean...
But hold on,
Patrick.
And also the previews that they're showing, they're in like 3 different countries. I mean, we've been like the last couple seasons we watched, like Chris Soules, we like the show fucking ended in a cold barn in that shit kicker town wherever that murderer's from. Honestly, we're back to budget anyway.
Back to budget?
Back to a budget.
I've noticed the same thing. There's a lot more affluence going on. I did think she was going to keep all that jewelry, and I was like, my jaw dropped. But
I didn't think for a second she was going to keep all that. Can I say, I feel like we kind of almost catch him in a lie here. He's putting these earrings on. She's like, have you ever done this? And he's like, yeah.
Every fucking day.
I have done this. To my mom. Lie, Ari.
If you watch the video, you actually see the wheels are turning in his head.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
He didn't do it as well as you did.
there was a pregnant pause there, and to be honest, I feel like
Great expression.
I feel like that's even there. It was even creepier. Like you're just in your mom's room all the time, like putting on your earrings, like a little bitch boy. Whoa.
Whoa.
Hey, night date.
We
talked about it before. The dress is, and listen, I don't know fashion, but just to me, a 27-year-old male who wears windbreakers and T-shirts every day, I thought it was hideous.
And that was the best she had to offer.
Hideous dress. He says that she made his heart smile during the day, which was disgusting.
Hey, can I jump in here?
Yep.
These two fools are sitting down having dinner, doing a little drinking.
Yep. They
pretty much say nothing between them. It was hurt my brain to hear them talk. Apparently, she's been in a 7-year relationship that's been on and off. That's always very suspect. I never trust a person that has like some person that's in and out of their lives like that. You can never date a person like that. She also mentioned, in her being the second girl, to mention that her dad crapped out.
You know, I was going to ask how you felt about her bringing up her dead father, because you have a storied history of not being a fan.
It did not go well for the last girl. Did it go well for that TV reporter? She opened with her dad died of cancer, and he kicked her the fuck out of there on the first episode.
Well, in contrast to that, I think it worked out pretty well for Vanessa and Nick Vile's season.
And it could definitely go either way.
Yeah.
But I felt like Becca K did it with tact, at least. And she did not just have that holstered. Like, Arie actually pulled that out of her and asked follow-up questions to it. And it wasn't like someone who just had this monologue written.
Right. And I do have to say, he's just genuinely really sweet and really, really good with the girls. I think he's really, really sweet to them. You think he is... You're wary.
A complete scumbag.
Yeah.
And I use this phrase quite a bit, intellectual lightweight. This guy is one of the dumbest. I mean, we haven't seen a Bachelor this dumb with nothing to say off the top of his head since Juan Pablo, but that English is his second language, so he has a fucking excuse. This guy is a moron. I have a clip, and I want you to analyze it. In this clip, they're discussing family, and he's saying that he actually... likes family people. That I'll play the clip. Here you go.
What a monster.
Is like the best free spirit, most caring person.
It's just wonderful. I'm glad that you're close to it. That's important. You know, family's important. I have such a cool family that has a good foundation. Now that I've been doing more stuff at home, like it's been fun.
I had no idea, like, if you were close with your family or not, and the fact that I am and that you are, it puts me at ease.
I love that.
Okay. Do you analyze what he just said? Hold on. Let's analyze what he just said. In essence, on that little exchange,
Yeah.
he loves that she's happy to hear him say that he thinks family is important. He's also excited about excitement. This guy's a fucking retard.
Pat, we can't use that word anymore.
He is able to drive fast. I do not know if someone who has like mental
Maybe he's an idiot savant.
inadequate. Yeah,
But he can't be an idiot savant because he had an abysmal racing record. That was mentioned later on in this episode.
idiot savant is actually a very real thing.
Yeah.
Many of these autistics have islets of competence where they're very
Yeah.
they're proficient in weird areas, such as counting Rain Man when he counted all the toothpicks.
Yeah. I thought they were chopsticks.
No, they were in fact toothpicks. And if you want to take another cinematic example, a little known fun Bruce Willis jaunt, Mercury Rising, where he has to protect a young autistic boy who solves puzzles, which turn out to be government secrets, and the government, to not get these secrets out, sets out to kill this young autistic boy, and Bruce Willis must protect him.
That actually sounds like a badass movie.
Me and my grandma watched it back in the day, and it was pretty fantastic. No one talks about
If
it.
you punch Bruce Willis now, he couldn't fall into a good fucking movie. The guy,
I don't think he would fall over. He's been
Yeah.
working out for years. Has kept
Yeah.
up quite the physique.
I don't know if
His
he's
base
just not
is
interested.
way too sturdy.
I don't know if he's just not interested in acting anymore. He couldn't act his way out of a wet fucking paper bag. He's terrible.
Okay.
People love him.
Hey, can we get back to the show? Anyway, Becca K gets that fucking rose. We knew that was coming.
Oh, yeah, Durr.
And then they make out because he's got pillow lips, as they say.
Yeah, they don't look very pillowy to me. They look kind of triangular and beaky.
We should sell Pillow Lips T-shirts. That is definitely becoming a theme. It's like a trope. All the girls are saying it.
Wrong medium, but I wish you could see Nick's eyebrows right now. They are at a exact 45-degree angle down to his nose. It is crazy.
But then he pulls that string and gold flakes fall on top of them as they kiss, and that is going to be in the montage when she wins this.
He had so many great surprises. He was full of surprises all day. And then that last surprise just really, left a lot to be desired. I don't think you go out on that.
Are you talking about popping the bottle with the
enough
confetti?
Yeah, it wasn't enough confetti, and the confetti was too big also. Hey, we got to get to the next one-on-one with Crystal. Crystal gets the one-on-one, and I'm in a weird place with her. I pretty much think I hate her, but she did okay on this date.
I thought this was a setup. I thought this was, the classic setup where you give her the one-on-one. I don't know if this is conventional for there to be two one-on-ones in the first, I guess, episode once he meets the girls out.
Yeah, I was sure those cards were going to have a bunch of names, and much to my surprise, one-on-ones every time.
It seemed like there was some shock and awe with the group. And so
awe.
I was thinking she's going to make a fool out of herself, say something stupid, and then she's not going to get the rose, and we get her out of the way very early on.
They stopped by his high school, his old alma mater, where he used to pick on the art nerds.
He was really proud of picking on the art nerds. You could tell he was proud to be back at his old stomping grounds. A little too proud.
It's weird, though, because he seems like an art nerd. He seems like a total dweeb.
Probably the most famous, I guess, famous guy. It's come out of that little town of his.
Scottsdale?
Yeah.
No. Stevie Wonder's from Scottsdale.
Is that right?
I made that up.
Oh.
See, I love when people make up facts. I believe that.
I
would have walked around with that in my pocket.
Nick told me Droopy Dog was inspired by Truman Capote today.
It sounded right in my head. I wasn't even trying to bullshit him, but
So we get to Scottsdale. I don't know if it was before or after the tour of the pizza place he worked at, or where.
Let's not gloss past the pizza place. That wasn't any pizza place. That was a Pizza Hut, the shittiest of all pizza places you could possibly work.
You're not going to get me to disagree with you there. Saddle Domino's right up there too.
Mm-hmm. But what about Papa John's?
Love Papa John's.
But then they swung by his place.
Right. So, all right. So a few things here. This guy is supposedly successful, or at least that's what he's putting out there. He does one of the crimes that a single bachelor dude should never do, which is if you look into his closets, it's almost like a shrine or a museum to his failure of his past. He had all his helmets from all his races up there. I think that's just sad. Whenever I see that, like I have a buddy or something, and he'll have like his guitar up on the wall, I'm like, oh wow, you were never on MTV. You're a loser, and then you should stare at that every day, and it remind you of your failures.
I definitely agree it can come across as corny and desperate, but I thought it was a subtle thing that he put it in the closet, because it wasn't until he showed her that part and she was like, oh, your helmets. So it didn't scream of douche quite as much, but it's a move.
Throw him in the fucking garbage.
I do want to say
it's a move.
He has so much pain from that period of his life. I think he's putting it in the closet as it's kind of a stowaway, compartmentalizing. You know what is douchey and desperate? Showing girls you just met your home video reels. So weird.
It definitely wasn't his idea. That was not his
absolutely.
favorite. That was not his favorite part of the day.
He was so embarrassed.
Nick, I'm glad that you caught that. I like the mics, the lights, the tears, the fears. He, at some point, they allowed this in editing. He looks off camera like he's looking at someone saying, like, are we done yet? Yes, I don't think he enjoyed having to do that.
They made this weird laugh come out of him because of how uncomfortable he was, and he legitimately, his face was beet red. He was like, I don't think any more of that. And he even referred to it later. He's like, I hope that didn't I was trying to be cool. I hope you didn't make that thing.
I think he might be scared of her, and I don't think that he wants her seeing this stuff, because a killer's mark, they know intimately, you know?
And her intensity screams of it.
I was just thinking that. Hey, let me make a confession here. Not only did he show the videos, at some point when they go to was it the family's house where this motherfucker has the balls to double down on looking back and reflecting his past? He has a photo album he whips out.
What's your confession?
I hate when people you're dating do that. It's a big pet peeve of mine. I've had multiple females in my past whip out the photo album. We start flipping through the album, and they're like, oh, at some point there'll be an uncomfortable silence because there's a picture of her with a dude with her arm around. I'm like, oh, you blew that guy.
You know, I think that you say females when you're referring to women because you're an expert on black culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely...
I think that kind of just bleeds into him, you know?
Mm-hmm. Wears it on his sleeve.
Listen, all joking aside, this is... If Crystal hadn't royally screwed up later in the episode, I would say that this is... I mean, other girls look out, because he says that he takes Crystal home to assure his mom that this process isn't that bad, which is a big thing to say. I mean, if Crystal's the one that he's choosing to calm his mother down with, I think that's got a lot of weight.
I was really weirded out by really upfront in this series here of him actually going back to his... There's got to be a reason behind this. There has to be a reason. Why fly back to Scottsdale with this weirdo and introduce her to your family?
Well, go ahead.
How he thought it went was she was the best he could bring home. She would display herself the best in front of his mother. So she thought he was the best choice, but you think she's weird and it's clearly the wrong choice.
Oh, she's damaged goods, dude.
Well, let's talk about her being damaged goods. She is asked by Arie to, tell him a little bit about herself at dinner. And he says you can share as much or as little as you want to. I know we're on national television. We don't know each other at all. But she tells him everything. And it's not quite like lipstick-eating Siberian orphan sad, but it is a bummer.
There were some specific details that really drove the point home and really actually made my black heart feel. Of course, the singed hair from the unrelenting Venice Beach sun was a very, very vivid image.
Yeah. She definitely she can paint with her words. I will say I second that, Nick. I have a cold, dark soul. I have no nerve endings. I almost welled up with a tear when she got into that part. It was so good. I felt like, maybe, am I being fooled or duped here? I mean, look at every expression. It's like everything was so, like an actress would get an Academy Award for what she did on camera.
Well, I mean, what she laid out, I mean, she storyboarded the shit out of that tail. It was the texture of his skin.
The leathery, she described it as.
She also
leathered
says
from
that
the
he
sun.
was attacked? What does that mean?
Or how about
Bum fight, man.
Or how about the part where he faded into the distance as he drove away?
That was the most cinematic moment of the entire story. She gave him enough money to get on a bus, and then he drove off into the sunset.
Back to Venice Beach. Like that, I wonder if he has an act. You could make some serious coin if you're talented.
I think I saw him
Beach.
down there last week. He steps on glass.
I'll pay.
That guy is a hoot. Hey.
Hold on.
Yeah.
To Patrick's point,
It
seemed like an actress with a monologue again that could have won an Academy Award. We talked about this with Peter, with his infamous "I saw her in the rearview mirror" speech. It seemed, again, overwrought.
Perry, I can drive a fast car.
Now, guys, when she finished her monologue, which I bought into,
Yep.
do we remember what Arie had to say?
I don't know, Patrick. Is that a rhetorical question?
He said, and I quote, "I love your story, comma, as imperfect as it is."
Yeah, smash cut to 15 minutes earlier when he's like, Becca's like, family's important to me. He's like, well, that's important to me. And
yeah, no, exactly.
Completely contradictory.
Listen, I think you guys are being cynical. I thought he was very, very nice to her, and I thought he handled that horrifically depressing story pretty well, actually.
Yeah, and I felt bad for her.
Like we mentioned, he's full of surprises. They go into the next room, and sure enough, we get one of the most awful trademarks of this franchise, the ABC record label's up-and-coming independent artist serenading a contestant in The Bachelor or Bachelorette, dancing there awkwardly.
Boy, was this motherfucker pitchy. I mean, come on, dude. I mean...
Little pitchy dog.
Little pitchy dog, don't love a dog.
Connor McDewitt, give it up. Like, go get your electrician license or something. Thank the Lord that you got on TV for 4 seconds. You did not do well. You should have asked the producers to do what they normally do, which is they'll get your record version of that song, and then you'll do a fucking bad lip sync version of that.
Yeah. After this date, I was in the clouds. I thought she was gonna kill it. I'm so happy she's on my team. Later on in the episode, don't want to get ahead of ourselves. She shoots herself in both legs. Hey, group date card hits the table. You know what that means, Nick?
Roll call! Date card numero tres. We got Mikkel. We got Marique, that hot Indian chick, not nearly enough camera time. Valerie, the redheaded prostitute. We don't see much of her either. Tia, piece of ass, Raven sequel. Lauren G, Annalise, apparently had some childhood trauma with bumper cars. Kendall, Jenny, who knows who she is. Becca, Rebecca, actually also called Terry. Bibiana, the Latin lover. Chelsea, Cien, Jenna, Brittany. Let's hit love head on is the theme here. Get it? They're in cars where they crash into each other. Let's hit love.
Tia is right at home because she's like, well, I mean, we do this in Arkansas.
There's a ton of demolition derby in Wiener.
That's where people, where predominantly the population is addicted to crystal meth and they have nothing to do.
Well, yeah, they're addicted to crystal meth, but they are a very religious people. They do worship the sacred silos.
The grain bins, if you will.
The sacred grain bins of Hawks.
I don't necessarily want to throw stones, though, because in the rural areas where I come from, meth addiction is also quite the epidemic.
Yeah, and I have family in Virginia. They struggle with that as well. You know who else is struggling?
It's more heroin in Patrick's neck of the woods.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's all cold and inside just doing heroin.
There's nothing to do on the East Coast.
Very gray.
Hey, so Annalise is in tears. Why? A traumatic childhood experience. Kind of like Crystal, but not exactly. It more has to do with she went to a birthday party and they were doing bumper cars. So she got scared.
The show actually took some time to take a shot at her with this. I believe they did an animation of bumper cars bumping around. And,
It was a highly stylized flashback-esque thing where they
highly stylized,
where they had a bumper car of a little child with her face blurred out, which was to represent old Annalise. And man, I love that. I thought this was the funniest thing this show has ever done.
It was so stupid.
I have to say, like, I had a really bad experience with bumper cars as a child myself. Like, my car didn't work. I kept getting rammed into.
Yeah.
But it was just a bad day.
Right.
I carry no baggage from that going forward.
Right.
And I would love to participate in Demolition Derby.
She has the opposite. I mean, she is really, really devastated. I kind of knew that she was a nutbag when in the very first episode she said that she wasn't, quote, a nickname person, which just reeks of insanity.
Agreed.
When Arie settled her down and she told him,
It's okay. There's literally nothing to be afraid of.
He should have. That was good. He was very comforting, but he should have put it in perspective. Last night, I sat down with Crystal. Her brother skin is leather. His hair is singed from the sun because he refuses to seek shelter.
Yeah.
And you're talking about when you were 7 and you were on a ride and it didn't work?
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yeah, hey, bitch, what's next? You afraid of fucking tomatoes?
What?
Tomatoes is an equally stupid. It works out and you laugh, and then that's what makes me really self-conscious when you laugh. Maybe we could just like move forward from it.
This chick's a psycho. If I was in Arie's shoes, what I would have done is I would have put my hand on her shoulder. I would have said, "Don't sweat it. I still care about you." And then fucking give it an episode, let it breathe a minute, and then fucking cut her loose.
I think that might be what is happening. Although she ended up...
She redeemed herself a little bit.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say, we're making fun of her, but God, if she had known that she was in danger of getting a concussion, I think she may have even been less down. Poor Brittany.
With the prevalence of chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
What's that?
CTE? Will Smith?
Oh, yeah, Will Smith. Hey, so... They do this Armageddon walk, which is hilarious. So many good things in this episode. One of my favorites was the appearance by Bobby Gordon, who was a fellow racer of Arie's. They throw so much, quote unquote, you're an expert in black culture, so you'll know what I'm talking about here.
Shade!
They throw a lot of shade his way.
And I have to say, Chris Harrison slammed him harder
than Bobby Gordon.
And Chris Harrison acts like he loves Arie to his face. He like glows when he sees him, but then he's talking shit behind his back.
Yeah. Chris Harrison, the more and more we hear about him, reminds me more and more of a little weasel. So anyways, Bobby Gordon says Arie's right at home because he's had some pretty big wrecks. And then weasel face Harrison says maybe this will be the first race Arie has ever won, which, you know what? I kind of like because it is hilarious how bad he was at racing.
True, but you think Harrison's got all day long to write those one-liners? And that one, I give it a 1. Mm-hmm.
It did send the point across, and Arie seems to like put up this facade like he's winning all the time. When he was talking to Becca K earlier, he was like, I don't usually drink champagne, I just pop bottles. No, you haven't won any races. You're not popping bottles.
Yeah. Not champagne nor milk, which is a confusing tradition in that sport that I don't understand.
They pop milk?
Yeah. Annalise is I just have that she was a demolition derby shark. She started doing very, very well. Cian ultimately is the winner. I'm getting confused here. I thought that group date victors immediately got one-on-ones and roses, but I feel like that hasn't been that way for a bit now.
Cian definitely got the safe rose, Dill. I'm going to jump in here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go ahead and move to the night date. Quickly, Cian is somebody that we all slept on. We hardly paid her any mind in the first episode. She's beautiful and too smart for this competition.
She's on my fucking radar now.
Yeah.
She is smoking hot, and she is smoking hot, Dylan, and I second that. She is way too good for this show. She's way too intelligent for him. I don't know why she's here.
It's so funny because he doesn't sound like the cadence in his voice makes him sound not dumb. But, I mean, when you broke that down, he sounds like a knuckle dragger.
I was following the same train. I think he's an idiot. Like the way he said art nerds, that was the first thing that set me off. And I mean, he laid it out for us. Yale, one hand, weighing very heavy. Barely graduated high school and worked at Pizza Hut. Yeah. I mean, that is him. But he happens to have a father who can provide for his racing career, put a little coin in his pocket. He dresses well now, and all of a sudden, he's Rico Suave.
Yeah. While we're talking shit, when I was seeing Cian interact, I was like, she should have been the first black bachelorette. Rachel Lindsay sucked. Like, honestly, she was terrible. I hated her season. Like, I can't believe we couldn't, like, wait just another season to pick the right girl. Like, why make the choice based on climate? Like, wait a while till we have a worthy candidate to wow us all. And this girl, maybe we have 2 black bachelorettes back to back. Wouldn't that be groundbreaking?
I think that you're being a little hard on Rachel. While ultimately she did end up disappointing all of us and acting like a shit person on national television, we were filled with optimism. At least me and Nick were. I know that you weren't happy from the beginning. Hey, so night date. Chelsea takes him away and talks to him about her children. He's cool with it because he's, for some reason, cool with engaging in relationships with women with children, which is fine if you want to fall on that sword, but it's just strange that he's done that so often.
And I wonder... No, please.
Dylan, I heard what you just had to say about that. I have some thoughts that maybe probably go a little deeper than what you saw on the screen.
Yeah.
As you know, we just discussed this guy's a complete moron. She said, hey, I got a secret. I got a kid. And then he discloses something about his past regarding, I guess, him kind of mentoring or being having a kid or father or something. Here, can I play the clip?
Yeah.
You want to hear a clip?
Hit us with it.
I want to play a clip.
Hit it.
I have to say, even before that, before I went on Emily's season, I dated a girl with 2 kids, and I lived with her.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we dated for probably a year and a half. It didn't work out, but I loved being in that role.
Okay.
Oh, man. He seems like a distant memory for those kids when they grow up.
Let me tell you a little something about being a child of a single mother that invites strange men to enter into your home and live there for a little while and bond with you. And then one day you come home from school and Steve's not there anymore, I guess to throw the ball around. And then you ask Mom, where is he? And she said, Steve's not here anymore. It is absolutely destructive to a young person for this fool not to bury that story, but yet use it as a bonding experience between him and another single mother as something that they'd have some kind of middle ground or some understanding of one another. Asshole. She's a single mother, probably made some bad choices. She's raising a kid. You said, and the word was, dated a woman for 2 years and you lived with her. That's called your girlfriend, by the way. That's not dating anymore. And then you end it with saying she had 2 kids. And I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Well, let's talk to those kids when they're fucking in a fucking therapy when they're fucking 24.
I have to say, Patrick and I stepped on what we were both going to say earlier, but we had the exact same point. But I'm so glad I let him go first because mine was only a peripheral.
Yeah.
I have never experienced.
Right. That kind of pain.
Yeah, that fly-by-night, I'm here, going to be your dad for a year, and then bounce on you. But that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm sure it's fun for you, Arie, to show up town to town, mentoring these kids for a year. Oh, maybe I get to throw the ball around. I only like to be around when they're 8 to 14. And then all of a sudden you're gone, and you're traumatizing these young children for the rest of their life. But you experienced it. You lived through it.
Yeah, I take issue with Arie, having heard your story and your commentary on his story, because what Arie's doing is he's essentially parading around town, creating monsters that will grow up to be eventually something like Patrick. I mean, this is what happens to people when their mother's home is a revolving door of dick.
History, as they say, it repeats itself.
I will
Too
say
much?
No.
I mean,
Let me. I hate to repeat myself. Hold on. I hate to repeat myself, but I have to say this once again. This fucking scumbag, this idiot, he doesn't know that you shouldn't say that. Bragging about being in a relationship where 2 kids were involved and then you left.
He knows his audience. He's not talking to somebody who has self-confidence. She says, in fact, that him being okay with her having children gave her a lot of confidence.
Can I tell you something? You're wrong. We're his audience. The millions of people that watch this show go, what a fucking scumbag.
I don't think America's as cynical as we are. But that's why we think we deserve a podcast, because we have an interesting take.
it's different than most.
Hey, so I said earlier that Crystal kind of confused me this episode because she had redeeming moments ultimately all to end in misery. But Bibiana is somebody who did the same thing to me. I went into this week loving Bibiana. I was really excited to have her. We deemed her the new Alexis Waters last week. She was repulsive this entire episode until she takes down Crystal in the end. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But I just want her to kind of stop talking because she at one point says that she is here, and this is after she's blown up. She says that she is here to find a future with Arie. Okay. If that is truly why you're here, then one, why are you not going and talking to him? Very, very crucial component into you figuring out whether or not you have a future with him. Two, I don't know if you mentioned this, but you agreed to be on a reality television show. So when you tell the cameras not to film you, you're really not participating in this entire event at all.
90% of what she comes out of her mouth is a threat to someone. I would like her to put up or shut up and hit someone in the face if you're gonna keep threatening it or do something. Like you said, she's talking about how she's not getting any time. It seems like they're legally bound to acquiesce when you ask to interrupt. Go interrupt.
Yeah, go interrupt. And honestly, the girls were like, "You can go now," and she was like, "No." You think I'm going to talk to him after you guys have talked to him?
I think towards the end of the night, her logic was that she had been drinking too much. But I'm not saying that's not on her, but I feel like maybe it was a good idea for her not to talk to Arie at that time.
Maybe. I mean, she got a rose. Spoilers.
Ahead of ourselves.
Hey, so Patrick, where have you been?
What?
I feel like he's got something in the holster.
Yeah, I think he does. I think it has to do with the next person that we need to talk about, which is Becca, who it's annoying that she acts a decade older than she is, but she is killing it.
Oh, I didn't see it coming, and I love it.
The scene between these two, I call it a scene. The interaction between these two tards. We got to get into this. Terry, and what's his name? Arie. Them kissing just grosses me out.
Okay, you're wrong about that. That was one of the steamiest. I mean, that was a hot kiss. One of the hottest kisses I've ever seen on this show.
It was that reminded me of Spider-Man Upside Down with Kirsten Dunst.
I just feel like she is in complete control of this man who is
15 years her elder.
Need we remind you, a 36-year-old real estate broker. She's I think you guys shouted out a number last week.
She's 22. It's been verified.
Oh my!
She threw it in her IG now. She's got it on the gram.
Okay. I have their interaction. I have a clip. Do you want to hear the clip?
Yeah, sure.
Can I play a clip?
But I didn't get the rose yesterday like I thought was going to happen. So I'm like a little confused.
When you obviously rolled up and you were just like cool and fucking amazing, and I was like, I don't know if she likes me. I'm kind of...
Okay. Can I stop there? That sounds like a line that a 18-year-old male in high school would say to the 16-year-old. She's 22. He's 36, probably 37 actually at that point. Did you hear what this retard just said?
Patrick.
I'm sorry.
It's out of favor. Stop.
Did you hear what this moron just said? And when you drove up, I was like, I don't even know if she likes me. It's like weird. Okay. I was like, I don't even know.
You're getting a little ahead of ourselves. But that part infuriated me. And when you play it back and I don't look at him, he sounds dumber and dumber and dumber. He's like, when you pulled up and you were amazing.
Just like cool and fucking amazing. And I was like, I don't know if she likes me. I'm kind of trying to figure it out.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You thought that about me?
And then last night, I was like, she likes me.
Is he drunk
He
there?
sounds pretty fucking drunk.
He's creepy. He's a creepy toucher. He's a creepy whisperer. It's all bad. This motherfucker has a type, and it's a type that only has had boobs for 48 months.
You know what, Rebecca?
Gross pig.
Rebecca is like one of those kids like Patrick that grew up, and now Arie's dating her.
Can I play on, please? There's more gross stuff coming.
You are controlling the start and stop, but yes.
No, are you serious? You actually thought that?
Yeah, of course.
I was literally thinking, it's like, he seems cool, but like, I'm not sure if I'm like a girl that he'd be into.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy.
I think I was wrong about that.
You were very wrong about that. I'm super into you.
Jesus.
When you hear it, let me remind the audience. She's 22. He's 36. I have mentioned 2 episodes ago that I had dirt on this motherfucker, that he had propensity for younger women, possibly women underage, and here you see it. This guy's on TV. What a compulsive motherfucker. You can't control yourself for 2 months and not fuck the 22-year-old? This is what you're doing with 18 people around with cameras and lighting. You're making out with a 22-year-old. You're here for serious reasons. You're 37. Don't you want a woman? She's a fucking nanny, dude. She's a fucking nanny. Hold on. I'm on a fucking rant here. Bachelor people.
Yes,
Mike
you are.
Fleiss and this other guy that DeMario mentioned that's actually pulling all the fucking strings. Let me tell you something, guys.
Ilan Gale.
We actually kind of hope that their love exists in the universe. You guys, there's 6.5 billion people on the planet. I have to say there's at least 10 guys that you might be able to rustle up into a casting office that could fit the bill to be a good guy that doesn't want to have sex with 22-year-olds, even though you're 37, with a real job, not a real estate job. As I mentioned previously, a guy with you could have a GED and have a real estate license. By the way, I haven't seen if he's actually been successful at that. He seems like he's still like hanging his hat on the fucking race driver thing. Guys, please get the casting shit together. Give us a Bachelor that we can all stand behind and go, wow, I'm not as good as that guy. That guy is fucking cool. When I watch this show, I go, that guy's a fucking scumbag. And I live in LA where a guy you could run into, you fucking bump him in a fucking bar. A guy with the credentials of this piece of shit. Fucking get it together. Fucking get it together. Honestly, this guy sucks.
I don't think that we want somebody who is better than us, because we wouldn't get rants like that. And we don't watch this show to watch people who are better than us. He sounds so I'll say it. I can't keep saying it enough. He sounds so stupid and so gross.
I feel like we're always just crushing everybody in this show. I think he's not maybe like the smartest guy. He didn't go to Yale. He's no CN, but I think he's genuine. And though he likes lip blocking a little bit, he's looking for love.
Hey, so a couple things. One, he immediately has to talk to Brittany when this stuff gets going on account of she was concussed in the demolition derby, which is not a laughing matter.
And he gives her
most hardcore award,
an official friend zone certificate.
Right. Yes.
It's like that was like, hey, I really like you, but good freaking luck.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something though? She's going to be around for a little while. Disney, who owns this franchise, a little concerned about personal injury lawsuits.
Okay, Patrick.
I actually cannot agree more. She didn't show up because of that my first thought when they were doing Demolition Derby was like, this is risky. Mm-hmm. And then one of them did she got brought back. And yeah, she could take them for all their worst. I don't care if she signed a waiver.
Not an attractive girl, and that jumpsuit was not helpful.
Patrick, you're mean. Second, Nick brought up something that was pretty shocking. I never watched Arthur the Aardvark as a kid, but do look this up. I mean, is it Arthur's sister?
It is Arthur's younger sister. Very savvy younger sister.
What's her name?
DW.
Okay. It's uncanny. You got to look this up. DW from Arthur the Aardvark. Anyways, moving on. The girls are a little worried. There's a lot of frantic energy, and Bibiana tries to quell their anxiety by saying, don't worry, I had a really rough night at the group date. One, why does that make anyone feel better? And two, who the fuck cares?
Not making me feel better, not about not getting my time with Nick.
Nick?
I
Yeah, we're struggling.
I'm in my head. I'm sorry. Okay. I was so excited for this.
I'm in mine, too.
Okay. There's actually not a lot to say about Bibiana. She had a drop the mic moment where she's like, bitch, you don't know who you're fucking with here,
No,
man.
don't get there yet.
You don't know who you're fucking with.
We got to get there. Let's jump into Crystal.
Oh, me. Crystal. Don't you like me? I had a rough childhood.
After
my brother's homeless.
Fantastic outing with what's his name, Arie Leondick at the Bradbury, she does some strange stuff. First, she goes and she gets some time with him, which, you know what, girlfriend, all the power to you. It's right. You don't see The Bachelor a lot, and if you're going to win this competition, you need to get your time in. Bibiana's not happy because Bibiana's just not happy in general right now. She's in a piranha tank and wants to get out. But then she does something that is inexcusable. She does have a rose already. Once, you can be forgiven. Twice, it's weird. And strategically, very, very foolish. Because I'm sure Arie is very weirded out by her.
At that point, he's got to be. And not only did she go back for the second time when she has the rose, when a lot of these ladies haven't had time, there were 15 girls on the group date. The lady she came back to and interrupted for her second time wasn't even on that group date. It was possibly a Lauren.
Oh, right.
Excuse me for not knowing this woman who has gotten zero time with Arie's name, but I would be furious. That's the girl who should be in old Crystal's face.
Yeah. But, alas, it is not. Bibiana gets in her face. And you know what? She really turned a corner because as much as I dislike Bibiana this episode, I mean, Crystal has just taken the cake. She tears her down and then says, drop the mic, which I don't often like somebody professing to drop their own mic. But when it's deserved, it's deserved.
And it was a solid delivery of it. And she did say how she was just the mouth for the rest of the girls.
Lots of angry girls here. I'm just the voice.
And one of the shots they showed of someone in agreement was one of my favorite girls, Tia. Tia is clearly on Bibiana's side, and Tia is lovely.
Yeah, Tia's wonderful.
When you come into my fucking house and you take more time than you were allotted to speak with my man, I will I'll cut your fucking throat, bitch. All the other girls been walking around this house all day saying your pussy smell. One of them came up to me and said, hey, Crystal has a can of tuna fish way up into her crotch.
Though what Patrick just did was like the most stereotypical, offensive voice you could give to someone who you suspect to be Latin American, there were just, due to the inconsistencies in the impression, there were pockets where he sounded spot on Bibiana. When he hit bitch, I thought that was Bibiana right there.
Yeah, no, seriously. Once upon a time in Mexico, am I right? Although last week you did say ethnicity unknown, which was confusing. Let's get into the rose ceremony, huh?
I will say he hits all cultures because last year he did a male stereotypical Indian voice for Marique. So it goes all around the globe.
Something about putting your mouth on my ding-dong.
They know how to please their men.
Hey, so a couple roses to be handed out, couple roses to not be handed out, too, if that makes sense.
3.
Hey, Ashley is somebody that we haven't seen a lot of. She says that her confidence is at about a 7.
And a half.
7.5, which is confusing because it should be as close to 0 as humanly possible.
It should be the same as the minutes of camera time you've received.
Yeah, exactly.
You had no confidence that was going anywhere.
No, I really love that. Because then that means mathematically that she's at like what?
A 0. I didn't know who she was.
Psycho Annalise gets a rose. And then Bibiana gets the last one. Which, Pat, you know we like to get into the lights, the mics, the tears, and the fears of reality television. Is this producer intervention? We got a cat fight here on our hands, boys. Let's not break this up. Get Arie in the room right now. He's got to keep both.
We definitely like the fights. We thought Chelsea was going to be the evil villain.
He's hooked on phonics.
We thought Chelsea was going to be the villain, but yet we have maybe a bigger villain.
I think we've got a three-headed...
It's like a fucking Sith Lord.
I think we've got a three-headed dragon here. I think we've got ourselves old Chimera. You know, that beast with like the head of a cow and the penis of a tiger.
I'm so glad you were able to pull that out. I knew there was a mythical beast with 3 heads, but I would not have... What was it? One more
the
time.
Chimera. The only reason I know it is because the disease that was going to be let loose in Mission Impossible 2, starring Tom Cruise, was called the Chimera. In expositional lines,
and you just got intrigued.
Mythology,
and you just they told you about it in the movie.
Yeah.
I thought
the Chimera, a mythical beast with the head of a cow, the body of a goat, something like that.
So Mission Impossible literally had it spelled out for you. I was hoping a young, inquisitive Dylan had to walk his ass to the library and look it up.
No. Hey, a couple people walked their ass to the library when they didn't get roses. And, you know, that's why I'm the host, just because of segues like that.
Dude. Nice.
Jenny
does... Hold on. You don't want a roll call?
I do.
Let's give him a roll call.
Roll call.
No.
3,
2, 1.
Roll call!
Okay. Valerie, that redheaded prostitute that we really haven't heard a lot about, she's fucking... see you later, sweetie. We don't care about you. Jenny, I'm not sad about seeing you go. I have no idea who you even are. And that black chick, Lauren, she's out of here. Let me say something. Jenny, on her exit interview, she said, I'm not sad about you, pointed at Arie. I'm sad about leaving my new friends. That's a new one.
Is she one of the Rosé gals?
No, it was only the original 7 out of the original 8 that got eliminated.
Got it. I kind of liked it. I mean, she just left him there. He was like, hang on. Guys, give me a second. And he goes and just tries to hug her numerous times. She doesn't want to hug you. She wants to leave. But then she says something which is gross. This is the first time I've ever been broken up with.
Though she didn't come across well, I would love to have her in studio. She seemed like she had a biting sense of humor. She was they showed her just making fun of Annalise for being in tears over childhood trauma.
Oh, yeah.
So though she came across like kind of a bitch, to be honest, I don't want to be too harsh, I think she'd be fun.
Can I make a critique on this show? They did a wonderful job on this episode.
Unbelievable episode. 10 out of 10.
There were a few cast members, and maybe they do this on purpose. I really wanted to see more Caroline this episode, who I think is going to be the dark horse. I wish I picked her in the draft. She is so hot. She's so fun. It's going to be fun to learn more about her. And also, I love Marique, the Indian chick. I can't wait. God, I hope she makes it further.
Patrick, she will be gone so soon.
God damn it.
They talk about nothing.
It's the nose.
No, it's the being void of a personality, and the brown geisha's mask of makeup that she puts on every single time she appears before him.
Turns me on. Just don't paint on your eyebrows. Don't shave those goddamn eyebrows on and paint them with a fucking Sharpie. I had a bad experience with that one night.
What was that?
Well, I took home this random Latin girl, and I was having a good old time. Next morning, I wake up. Apparently, there was a lot of sweat made. I moved my elbow when I woke up.
By whom?
What?
Who was sweating?
Both of us. And when I woke up, I accidentally moved my elbow and I rubbed her eyebrow off, and it smeared on her forehead. So I'm staring at a girl with one eyebrow.
Guys, thank you for listening. We will be back later this week with some scoops, some stuff on DeMario apparently, which I'm excited to hear.
I'm going to shit on Corinne more.
Okay, we're going to talk about Corinne.
Winter Games!
That's going to be a super tight, 70, 75-minute episode.
So tight. It's going to be no fat on that puppy whatsoever. We're looking forward to this season, and I just want to say we will try to be nicer. My name's Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
I love Tia. Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Bye, guys.